Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to Cheap Bear's Off-Grid Ways, a homestead in the desert. And here we are. It's windy. Yeah, it's windy, and it looks like rain. But there's only a 3% chance of rain, so who knows? But the Skyriders, you can see the marks in between the clouds there, started all of this. You see the mark over there? Early this morning. They were going at it big time this morning. And now we've got this over us. And there's moisture in the air because the humidity's up. So, I didn't get much done today. Puppies all around my feet. What do you think about that, Black Socks? And this is Tippy over here. Tippy got hurt yesterday. He's walking around with his tail curled like he's a big boss around here now. And this one here, I gotta break her of the habit of scratching. She puts her paw up and scratches me. I know it's a term of endearment by dogs. Hey, what are you doing biting on that dog's face? Huh? What are you doing biting on that dog's face? You trying to show that you're the boss? Anyway, it's one of those days where I didn't get very much done at all. I did go out to the garden. I think I got a mouse still in the van, so I put some cotton balls soaked with pine sol in there, because the cotton balls with pine sol in the greenhouse has definitely kept critters out of there. There's not even, I raked the ground so I could see if they leave any marks or drags or anything like that. Nothing. So they're not going in there at all, and it kind of smells through that whole area. That might be why there's no critters in my garden. No traps getting set off. So for right now, I'm going to speculate that pine sol on cotton balls works. Of course, you don't want to leave that on the plants when you water them. So if you have an automatic waterer, don't use that around the plants, because the pine sol get into the soil and cause problems with your plants. So you don't want that. All right. So today I'm cooking in the kettle barbecue, and I didn't take the time to clean the dust and the raindrops and that stuff off the top of it, because I'm not going to cook on that side of it. I'm cooking on the inside of it. So you can see we're up here almost to 300. And what I'm doing here is I'm cooking a small rack of spare ribs. Okay. I'm using real oak charcoal, and I'll show you how to make that someday if I ever get the chance and get another metal cover for my metal trash can where I make the charcoal in. So anyway, this is another G-Bear's way of cooking. Now I want to slow cook the ribs over a long period of time, and I'm going to add a little bit of smoky flavor to them. That's why I'm using the oak on there, but the ribs are actually wrapped up in foil real tight. Okay, it's actually sealed in there, so I'm steaming them inside there in their own juices. And you can see what I did was I put charcoal around the back half of the barbecue, and I only lit it on this end, so it will slow cook towards that way, and it'll get to the thinner stuff at the end and lower the heat. So I put the heaviest stuff here in the beginning to bring the heat up, and then lower the heat as it gets towards the end of cooking. So I'll leave that in there for 3.5 hours, 4 hours, and just slow cook it. That I'll be out on the last half hour, 45 minutes of cooking, And I'll open up the foil, and that's when I'll add my barbecue sauce to it. And then I'll let that caramelize in the heat without the foil. The also the dry seasoning, I make my own, and it's like 85% black pepper, but it has other things in there like white pepper and chili powder and onion powder and garlic powder and all kinds of stuff like that. And one of these days, it's hard for me to tell you exactly how to make it, so I have to sit down when I'm making my next batch. I make it in a large batch and put it in a large old spice container. You know, the big half-quart ones that you can buy. It's like Smart and Final and that stuff. And I mix it all up, and then I leave it in the refrigerator. If you refrigerate it, let the flavors all mingle together, it makes it a much better flavor. If you mix it right away and put it on there, you don't get such a good flavor on it. So I'll show you how to do that sometime. I have to sit down when I'm making my next batch, and actually I just been doing it so long, I just look at what I'm pouring. I don't actually measure it out to a specific measurement, and it's not really required to do that, but I want to get you in close to if I only use like a tablespoon of onion powder, I'll say approximately a tablespoon of onion powder. So you don't have to actually measure it, just pour it in the palm of your hand and then dump it in. And that's another chef's secret. When you're mixing spices or adding spices to your cooking, pour it into your hand first. And then if you make a mistake and you slip and pour too much, you're not pouring it directly into the food. You can always take your hand off and pour some back into the container, or sweep some off into the trash or whatever, but you have control over how much you add that way. And then if you want to move it around inside, instead of putting a tablespoon in the palm of your hand and just dumping it in, put a tablespoon in the palm of your hand and then pinch it and sprinkle it in all around over the top of the pan or whatever you're cooking. Little chef's tips there for you. I hope they help you out. All right, so this is starting to smell really good out here, and it's going to keep smelling better and better as time goes on. Dioge's been here for a couple of days now. The hot summer days, he usually doesn't roam very far because he's got a lot of fur, and it gets hot out there in the desert. So, and then his buddy Blackie laying there. It's strange how he dominates Blackie and makes Blackie bow to him, but they hang around together like they're best buddies. And then this is Limpy here. She was injured as a pup, and I had her inside the cabin for about 3 weeks healing, and it was her back leg that was injured, but she seems to be doing fine now. She's just spoiled. She's a spoiled brat. All right, so my birds are out there doing their thing, and I got a dog hiding out there behind the bush, and the birds don't seem to mind. I got a couple of mourning doves over there, and actually it looks like the single one. A little knowledge for you: mourning doves mate for life. So there is 2 of them. So you'll always see them in pairs. From the first time that they've mated, they'll always be together. If you see a single mourning dove, that means that the mate was killed during hunting season or by a predator or something like that. So that's about it, everybody. I've got winds blowing all over the tarps here, but I've got them anchored pretty good, so I'm doing well over there. We'll do a walkthrough there later on, or in another video down the line. For right now, I'm going to call this one a print. Questions and comments down below. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up. Like my videos. Don't forget to subscribe. And don't forget to share with your friends. They want to see what you're watching too. This is G Bear signing off.